Story 1. Don't know if this applies, but a girl I dated had a southern drawl. I thought it was attractive. Then I dated a girl from Mexico who turned me on by how she spoke. After the Mexican girl, I realized I liked accents because I also realized I was infatuated with this girl in high school who was from France. She wasn't a dainty foreigner but was pretty punk rockish. Story 2. My old man advice for the day. Attraction is a fickle thing. I have been attracted to features that, after experiencing them or living with them for a while, I discovered were not as important to me as my initial excitement. Most people will reason this out in time. What never lost its luster was personality traits I respected or appreciated. Yes, we all saw that coming. Welcome to the age-old internal beauty is greater than external beauty message. It may be cliché, but it is so true. The things you will come to appreciate most over time will include physical attributes, but the things that will make her more important to you than other women in the long term will all be related to her character. Story 3. Snort laughs. I don't talk about it because most of the women I've known have been a bit sensitive about their snort laughs, but I think it's absolutely adorable. Story 4. Girls who don't really mind having boring plans when going on trips and not really into partying. Since I'm honestly not much of an adventurous guy even though I love traveling. Story 5. Honestly, giving me attention, like just giving me the time of day and I'll start crushing. Making me feel like my existence means something good to you. I'm putty. Story 6. My wife is humble, not that she needs to be. I remember when we were engaged and someone shared with me that she was the valedictorian of her high school class. I'd been with her for 4 years and she had never shared it. We were getting married, and I asked her about it and why she didn't tell me, and she just didn't think it was important. I knew at that moment I was marrying up and have spent years trying to make the perfect gnocchi because it's her favorite. She's a blessing. Story 7. Really nice, natural eyebrows. I am a sucker for pretty eyes, but throw in good-looking eyebrows and she is gorgeous. And that is why I do not openly admit it. Story 8. Being athletic even to the point of being muscular. The question about flat-chested women comes up regularly on Reddit. Meanwhile, I am here looking for some defined pecs. Please message me your lady pecs. Story 9. I like skinny, no butt, no boobs. If I say it out loud, it annoys women because real women have curves, and it triggers men because they question my preferences every time. Story 10. She has to have a strange hobby. Whether it is some unusual collectible thing, peculiar show she watches, or something she does, I need someone who can entertain themselves at times and doesn't become overly clingy to me. Story 11. I love a woman with glasses, especially with her hair tied up or in a bun. She has an inner glow and is not full of herself, but is beautiful inside as much as outside, without any airs or graces. Story 12. Girls with dark hair. Thick hair. Curly hair. Cute legs like Betty Boop. A lady who lets her hair grow, if you know what I mean, when she feels confident in her own skin and doesn't always go crazy with the makeup. Kindness. Compassion. Empathy. Having an interest, passion, or hobby. Story 13. I love a big nose. Big old honker, Clonk City. But I can't go tell a woman, hey, I love your Wicked Witch look. For some mad reason, girls don't like big noses. But they're wrong. A big old snout is charming and interesting. At least to me. Story 14. Soft skills. If I see a woman encounter a rude person or a socially unskillful person, and she's able to navigate the moment with poise and respect but clear boundaries, I have a natural instinct to protect her and want to get to know her. Full attention on creating closeness with her immediately. Story 15. Not really a characteristic, but I like girls who have tattoos. I don't mean like having a star or a dog's paw, but for example, I saw a girl walking down the street with her left leg, if I recall correctly, half-sleeved, and for me, that is a turn-on. That said, my wife doesn't have any. Story 16. The girl I was seeing. It immediately impressed me, and I don't know why, but it was her knowing how to train her roommate's cat properly. No idea what the emotional attraction was, but here it goes. I hate cats. Hate them. 90% of them I've found to be total jerks that just hide around the house and never show affection. I like dogs for this reason. Anyways, I hang at her apartment and she has this super friendly cat. Comes right up and hangs with us. Lets you pick him up. Wants pets. It's a dog, basically. I'm like, wow, I hate these things. Why is this cat awesome? And she's like, oh, nobody knows how to socialize them. They literally need to be handled and tossed around a bit. Watch. She then proceeded to toss him, gently, onto the couch across the room. It's a young cat. He lands right on his feet and runs back over to us for another toss. Whenever it was bratty, she had no problem getting in its face and giving it the no, bad cat. No hitting or anything. I really just appreciated the, I'm not taking nonsense from this cat, when everyone else is kind of just overly protective about their pets, especially when it comes to pets that just never behave. It's a quality I look for now. Story 17, her being a little bit of a brat. I wouldn't say it makes me want to make her my girlfriend, but it makes me want to be with her intimately. If she's a little bit of a challenge and a little cruel. Story 18, intelligence. I live with one girl who is an idiot, and I find her so irritating and annoying. One day, I saw her in the kitchen sharpening a knife with another knife. She said that with so much confidence and conviction that I was dumbfounded and thought I was wrong. I looked it up, and no, I was right. It's idiotic to use a knife to sharpen another knife. Just use the other knife. She's physically attractive, but as soon as she opens her mouth, she turns into a 0 out of 10. Story 19. I normally go for the thicker, covey women, think in the 180 to 200 pound range, but there is something about a woman who powerlifts that makes me tingly inside. Jordan Grace is a prime example. I would let her squeeze my head and crush it like a watermelon. Story 20. It's not that I won't admit it openly, but it just never comes up. I love intelligent, accomplished, but nerdy women. A woman I'm seeing is a Yale graduate and has a high-paying, influential job. Her friends are also Ivy League graduates with degrees in neurology and other impressive fields, and I find that really attractive. They're like the smart and pretty committee. Story 21. I like it when they have a wild past, a rude mouth, and a clever tongue. I love a woman who acts all high and mighty, but when you get to know her, she's just a soft teddy bear. I like women who are a little bit mean, but not too mean that it's hard to talk to them. I also love tomboyish and rebellious women, free-spirited women, women interested in crystal healing and spiritual practices, quirky and unusual women, women who never had real friends or who often paid for friendship, goofy women, aggressive women, socially awkward women, even women with high-functioning autism. I only talked to one. She was pretty cool. Story 22. After 20 years, it's her laugh that gets me laughing every time. I should say I don't openly admit it because I don't want anyone making fun of her. Although I doubt she would care. Story 23. That indent along the outer thigh that runs along the line of the femur. So niche, I know, but you get that on strong, athletic legs being shown off when she has her legs crossed. Bro. Story 24. Honestly, whenever I meet a girl who drinks or likes beer, it's a big turn-on for me. I don't really know why. I'm not even a huge beer fanatic. I like one every once in a while. But something about watching a lady enjoy a beer really does something for me. Story 25. I know some guys who get annoyed by this, but when a small group of girls, things change after a group larger than 4, are together making each other laugh. It especially amuses me if I have a crush on one of those girls. Just something about that makes me feel endeared. Then again, I've always hung out with artsy, rocker-type girls. Those conversations are definitely more interesting than a group of girls twerking or sitting around talking about Tupperware. Story 26. Being taller than me, the taller the better. I'm short, so there are a lot, but for a lot of my life, I limited the dating pool to be shorter than me. But something about climbing that tree or looking up into my wife's blue eyes just does something for me. Also, being tossed around is the part one won't tell strangers in person. My wife literally moved me with one arm. So hot. Story 27. Being a tough woman. A woman not afraid to throw down or work out. I don't know if it's a fetish to be honest, but I also love when women take care of their feet and hands. Story 28. Kind of a mess, needs saving. This is actually why now, when I'm attracted to a girl, I immediately keep my distance. I learned the hard way not to mess around with girls like that. The unfortunate part is that it seems to make them want me more. Story 29. Sadly, I seem to be attracted to emotionally unstable women, and I hate myself for it. I've broken up with nice, well-balanced, no-drama women for no good reason and married nightmares. Story 30. There are millions of things I would love to find in someone, but I think the two most important to me are being humble and forgiving. Trust me, I know no one is completely humble, but I love people who understand that we might all be special, but we aren't better than anyone else. I definitely would find it hard not to be with someone who is humble. It's just so attractive to me. Also, I think being very forgiving ties into being humble. If you are very humble, you kind of just become very forgiving, so it's like a package, but not always. I definitely would make a lot of mistakes because I'm not perfect, so I'd need someone forgiving to bear with me. I usually don't ever tell anyone I love these traits because it just seems like nowadays no one is like this. Story 31. This is going to sound odd, but I feel compelled to post this. I had done a bunch of psychedelics within a week time frame and came out of it feeling odd. Men, women, anyone and everyone, they've all got something beautiful about them. I'm very open about what I see in people. I'd say that the trait I see in women that I would find harder to admit to people that I like is toxicity. I love toxic women, but I hate it. There's something exciting about it, but something horrible about it. I've decided for myself that I can enjoy the toxic women from afar. But generally speaking, there are so many different things that people are attracted to in each other. Not even entirely sure why I wrote this all out. Story 32. There is a certain tone of voice that, if a woman even says my name, immediately gets my attention. She can wake me up from a sound sleep. This is not about volume, but tone. A tone of voice can refocus me, arouse me, or de-escalate a situation. Story 33. When she wants to pay for half, it signals to me a compatible future relationship. I'm looking to start a family, not just pay the bills, which means both of us contributing all our money. Story 34. I have never had a chance with one, and none of my partners, including my current one, have it, but an athletic interest of some kind and competitiveness to accompany it really do it for me in a woman. Story 35. Honestly, flaws. Physically and mentally. Spiritually, no one is flawed. Bad teeth, pockmarks, insecurities. Anything that makes me feel more comfortable being flawed with them. Story 36. You being a smug asshole is probably going to improve your chances with me in total honesty. I will absolutely not admit this to you, but some women I know have definitely noticed. Story 37. When she is a bit trashy. When she is a bit dramatic. When she has a little bit of self-esteem issues. These are all difficult tendencies. If it gets to be too much, then it is a problem and it won't work. But I admit to all of them that I like it to everyone. Story 38. For me, it's about family first. Her personality and sense of humor enjoy simple things in life, like walking on the beach, sunrises and sunsets, a drive to nowhere. Story 39. I find a pretty woman smoking a cigarette to be extra attractive. There is just something so sexy about it. I have no idea why. And it is so rare today in the United States. Ladies, if you smoke, glance around, you may find one of us enjoying your sexiness. Story 40. My number one thing is don't take themselves too seriously. When a woman thinks she's the best thing since sliced bread and I'm lucky to even be graced with her presence, I'm out. Story 41. I'm American. If she has a British accent, I'm done for. She instantly becomes a million times more attractive. It's to the point where I do not want to be with anybody who doesn't have that accent. I don't know why it does, but it kills me. Story 42. I'm not interested in a woman unless there's a possibility that she can kick my ass. I've been an athlete my entire life and I've done martial arts for a good portion of it. The women I encounter in my chosen pastimes and those like them are just, I'm talking about women who do Brazilian jiu-jitsu and or mixed martial arts, hockey players, rugby players, Olympic lifters, etc. The physical fitness with the competitiveness and physical assuredness is just hot, which leads to a physical trait that I find really attractive, nice shoulders and back. Story 43. Teeth, mouth, breath, she can be crazy and crazy hot. But if there is anything dodgy about that situation, I can't and I don't want to. Not saying I never have, but if I can see her or have seen her and it's a hard stop, definitely no. Story 44. Long, wavy, well-kept hair. I love my wife's hair, and she takes excellent care of it. It is among her best physical features that initially drew me to her. Also, her figure. Story 45. For me, there are two: hair and skin. I'm not ashamed of it, but I wouldn't bring it up casually just because it sounds a bit weird. I just find it super attractive when a woman has very soft skin, and luckily women, in general, have softer skin and cool or nice hair. I like hair that is dyed or styled in an interesting way, whether long, short, or anything in between. But I also find more basic hair, like straight brunette long hair, attractive if it looks particularly healthy and well taken care of. I suppose these aren't as much of a turn-on and more of a big part of whether I'm going to find you attractive. Story 46. When they don't conceal their attraction. When you are attracted to someone, be clear and let them act on that information. It's sort of the same thing that men would do in most cases. In reality, I suppose there are reasons for this: social pressure to appear less interested in an acquaintance, losing control of the situation when a man runs with it, and fear of rejection. Story 47. Someone who has an intellectual conscience and can talk about their interests passionately, and with interests not being merely surface level. Too many girls are gossip goblins, but maybe I'm being too harsh. I think most people, regardless of gender, are gossip goblins. The issue with being one is that the friendship of gossip goblins is all about them feeling comfortable and rewarded with gossiping with you. There is nothing deeper to connect with in this relationship. This is why people should discuss their own philosophical inclinations. Otherwise, you get the old cliché, "I've known them for decades, but I didn't think they could do something like this." Yeah, I wonder why. This flies in the face of what I consider friendship. Just because you help each other sometimes in small ways and feel good being with each other doesn't change the fact that your friendship would turn sour the moment you start interacting much more than you already have. Also, I think what I'm describing is gender-neutral friendships in general, because a good romantic relationship requires a good friendship as its foundation. Usually, younger people are much worse at it. Be honest and remember your university days. Adults usually can coherently tell their own philosophical thoughts, but don't expect too much.